Welcome, everyone, to an all new episode of TV Dinners. We are going to talk about a couple of things tonight. I hope that you entertain the show. I have a ton to go over. We're going to be talking about some 2023 episodic serial television coming up, and we're going to be talking about some new streaming ideas, I guess, is maybe the best way that I can couch this. We've got a lot of information coming at us fast and furiously from the streaming world. And that means, conglomerations that are putting all of their eggs into all these different baskets, like HBO Max, which is obviously a big one. But I really want to talk about what Netflix is doing and what they have been doing over the month of December, because I think this is really a key market indicator of where things may be going. And I also want to talk about some of the other streaming services and why they don't seem to be as similarly affected as some of the bigger content giants. So we'll get into that. Let me introduce my panel for tonight. I have with me Tori. Tori, how are you tonight?
I'm great. I'm super.
Good. Long time no see again. I feel like Tori just kind of like pops in and out.
I do. I'm sorry. I'm very I'm very not s- not stable is not the word. Reliable.
Uh,
uh,
we'll just say that Tori is kind of like the elusive cherry that sometimes you get in fruit cocktail. It's not always there. You can't always find it, but when you do, it's like, ooh, yeah, this is great. So, anyways,
yeah.
Instability is her ability.
I
Yeah.
I actually don't feel like that's such a bad thing. But anyway, thank you for coming.
Oh,
And we have
you're welcome.
Kinte tonight. Kinte, thank you for coming to the show. How are you?
I'm doing pretty awesome. I had a
Where?
great holiday. I cooked for Christmas dinner. I posted it online if any of you guys saw it. Actually, my mother did a lot as well,
Hmm.
and that was cool. And then on New Year's, I spent it with my brother and his family, and we had Spanish food, and I made a wonderful chili to go along with the enchiladas that my sister-in-law made. You know what? I'm not going to call her my sister-in-law. That's my sister. Uh,
Aw,
you know,
that's nice.
yeah, I actually, she's been married to my brother for over 30 years, 32 years, and I'm so close to her. Like, that's my sister. So my
Wow.
sister married to my brother, but not like an Alabama thing. So
You have to clarify that.
right, yeah, but yeah, so no, we had a wonderful time, and I'm just happy and excited for this year. And not to belabor any points, because it's been so long since I've been on a show and all of that kind of stuff, but I'm so happy to be here with you fine people. Looking forward to this year. And want those what are those, brownies or cupcakes or in the picture? uh I'll take them.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that does actually look really good.
Yeah.
That looks really good. Okay, so I'm going to start off the show by asking my guests first before I launch into my massive amount of 2023 content. What
Mhm.
shows are you guys looking forward to in 2023? And I will totally forgive you if you don't know if a show is coming back in 2023, because I feel like this is part of what I want to talk about tonight. Everything feels like it is about as unstable as that wobbly stool in your mom's kitchen that only the little kids sit on, because if an adult sits on it, it's going to fall apart. That's exactly what the streaming world feels like right now. But I mean, in a perfect world, what are you guys looking forward to for 2023?
Can I go first? Is that
Yeah,
okay?
Yeah.
absolutely.
I'm looking for the fifth season of Ozark. Oh shoot, that got canceled.
Oh,
uh
sorry.
no, well, the seventh season of
Actually, it
Better
came to a
Call
close.
seventh season of Better Call Saul. Oh, darn it. Nope, it
Nope.
won't be around.
Nope.
uh no, okay, no, seriously, from season 2, I am looking forward to that. I am also looking forward to uh from season 2. I said that right.
Yeah,
Uh
and that actually apparently is happening. So
right. I'm
yeah.
looking for um you know what? Honestly, I didn't watch a lot of TV this last year. The shows I did watch were like the final season. So but definitely from the new season of From, and we're gonna continue with our podcast based on that show. But I don't honestly, I don't even know what's
Well,
on anymore.
you know what? When I get to the part where I start because I'm going to give you a list of some stuff that's coming in 2023, and we together will, kind of give it the thumbs up and thumbs down.
Okay.
So maybe you'll get to know some stuff that's coming for the new year, and you'll get hyped about it, but only get hyped about it for one season, because in this environment, look, I don't feel like we have any guarantees for anything happening
Yeah,
more
you're
than
right.
just 8
Yeah.
episodes. So, enjoy it
Yeah,
while you can,
and that's
everybody.
a quick question because I was thinking about binge watching a show that's been on for a while, and there's two shows. You don't have to answer it now. That I was looking at. One was the Jack Ryan series, and also Yellowstone. So
Oh.
if those two should those shows be shows that I should check out because they have
Well,
they have a good
I,
long
I
run.
will definitely give you some information about both of those shows later in our show.
All right, cool.
Hmm.
Okay, what about you, Tori? Anything specific that you're
Oh
super
yes.
excited about? What are you
There's
excited about?
there is a plethora actually. Not okay, a plethora is a little big. But anyway, so I like Halo is really good. I think that the storyline is good and it really takes you to the video game, you know what I mean? Like it brought it to life and I like that. That's really cool.
I thought
I
you were
like
talking about the Adele song.
oh
But okay, but do we know? Do we have an official
yeah,
date that this is actually coming to 2023?
they won't give a date yet, but they said in a magazine article that they were coming back.
Okay. Well, I do know that they are coming back. I do know that there is an actual that they've done some filming. They've done filming in Hungary, and there is some already stuff that's been done, but I don't see any official either date or even year for Halo 2. And
Yeah.
my concern is that because we're going to get into this, but basically, the trend line at this point over the past maybe 3 or 4 years, let's say just post COVID, has been, instead of trying to rush post production, shows have been taking basically a year off. So you get one season and then a year off, and then the next season begins, especially on the really big budget shows. And
Mm.
Halo is fairly big budget. So I'm thinking, I don't know if we're going to see it in 2023.
Oh, that's sad. That's sad. Well,
Yeah.
if we don't, we don't. We know it's not canceled, so there's hope. You know,
But coming soon, yes, Halo
that's
2 is
coming.
definitely on my radar
So
too,
another one is Rings of Power.
which also is definitely not going to be around for 2023.
It got canceled.
No, but we do know that principal filming is beginning now, and it won't be released probably until 2024. And
Uh,
a lot of that has to do with post-production VFX. So
People be
okay.
hating on that show. I would love
Yeah,
to.
I know. I know. It's
they
Both
shouldn't
of those
anyway.
be.
shows actually, Halo and
They
I
that.
shouldn't
will. I
be.
will not get into this because I feel like I should just say it on Facebook in my groups,
Right.
my opinion about these things. Because honestly, people get mad. People get super big mad
It's
about a
silly.
TV show. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I I hear two of the issues is too much girl power and too much black people. It's too many black people on the show.
oh yeah, that's exactly it. Yep.
and I mean, look, we're gonna have a whole deep dive into Rings of Power in an upcoming episode fairly soon. But I'm gonna say that this is one of those very horrible nerd culture kind of issues where we have gatekeeping that is completely nonsensical. And I'll
Yeah.
tell you why I think it's nonsensical, because you have people out there who are basically basing, and I'm so sorry to sound like an elitist snob, but for a moment, I'm just going to sound like an elitist snob. You have people
Okay.
out there gatekeeping the Lord of the Rings story based on the Peter Jackson movies.
Yes.
Listen,
Yes.
people, I hate to bring it to you this way and burst your bubble, but Peter Jackson also did an adaptation, a condensing of material. He took out a ton of stuff, and some things he just changed because it just worked better cinematically.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means, hey, that's not Rings of Power. Rings of Power is based on Tolkien material that wasn't even covered in the Lord of the Rings. So anyway, that's a whole nother story. But yeah, I feel like this whole argument is so ridiculous. And you're right. A lot of it just kind of boils down to there's too many girls. They're too powerful. There's there shouldn't be any black people in Middle Earth.
Well,
Like,
Yes.
that's the
really?
two things that I can't stand to
Oh,
see in my programs is black people and women. I just
oh
want
yeah,
all white males. Come on, can we
exactly.
get?
Yes.
I want
And
all my programming all white males.
and all white alpha males too. I mean, none of these,
Oh yeah.
sissy males. Yeah,
Oh,
don't
heck no. Oh yeah.
don't get
Only
me
all
started
white.
on that.
I want white males that chew glass.
Exactly. Yes, if they don't all look like Chuck Norris, we don't want them. Get them out of
That's
here.
right. That's
Yep.
Okay, so my other one, I have a couple more, but I probably won't see this till 2024 too, because it's because of post production and stuff. But shoot, it just eluded me. Hold on, it'll come back, but we can talk about something else.
Okay. Well, let me give you a quick um let's see. What's a good way to say this? Let me give you a quick rundown of some things that are coming super soon, which I think could be really good. Okay, first thing, The Last of Us. HBO Warner Time Warner put a lot of effort into The Last of Us. Um, do you guys know anything about this?
Yeah, it's a
No.
video game. It stars Pedro Pas. Oh wait,
Hmm?
I'm sorry. The Mandalorian. I'm looking forward to that. But
Yeah,
but
Yes.
and
Oh, and I was
Pedro Pascal, yeah, is the
I was
yep.
star of it.
thinking House of Dragon. That's what I was thinking.
Okay, that is 2024, so that is
Okay.
definitely not 2023. Yes. Okay,
Yeah.
but so it sounds like 2024 is going to be a banner year for Tori.
Yes.
Everything that Tori wants to see is coming out next year.
Yay! But
Um,
okay, you can
okay, so
keep going
the
because
so
there's no more.
The Last of Us, yes, it's based off a video game, and it's actually based off of, I think, one of the best story narrative video games that has really ever been done. It's just so excellent.
Wait a minute.
Um,
It's not as good as Leisure Suit Larry, okay?
well, the graphics are slightly better. I mean,
Hey,
you know,
Josh will appreciate that reference.
yeah,
Hmm.
I think if they did an adaptation for Leisure Suit Larry as an ongoing series, like even an animated series, man, so many people would watch that. It would just be out of this world. We need to huddle together and pitch that. Okay,
Oh my
so The Last of Us absolutely is a big one for me. And I think that starring Will Arnett, and I think that is, I think that's, I think they put a lot of effort into The Last of Us. It certainly looks like that. I'm really hoping that that turns out to be something
and
pretty big.
if I uh if I can't watch it because or if I get nightmares, I'm blaming you, Jen.
Yeah, it'll be
It looks
okay.
scary. It looks scary.
It is scary, for a lot of different reasons, actually. Yeah, it's good, but I think it's going to be good. If you liked The
Maybe I'll watch
Walking
it.
Dead, if you like The Walking Dead, I feel
Yeah.
like this is sort of like the more nuanced version of a Walker universe, not the Walker universe, but a very different type of zombie universe, and it has a little bit more. Dare I say it? it's just nuanced. But I think it could be good. I really do. There's a lot of like moral questions that go on, which are good. The other thing that I'm super interested in this year is and this actually I think came out a couple days ago. I have not seen it yet, but I want to. It's Star Wars: The Bad Batch. I don't know if you guys have seen this. It's
No!
animated.
Oh my god! I'm texting Mac right now.
It's so season 1 came out last year and it was great. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Again, a nice, really nuanced story that just went in cool places. I liked it. So season 2 is apparently out. It just came out January 4th. Okay, next one on my list. Although I got to ask, do you guys know anything? Well, actually, I'll come back to that. Um,
Do we know
uh,
anything? Yes.
yeah, I'm gonna come back to that about
Wait,
something.
you said, do we know anything? Like we're stupid.
Yeah, sorry. Didn't mean it that way. I was gonna ask you about a show, but I'm gonna come back to this. Okay,
Oh,
next one that is big on my list is the Mayfair Witches. Do you guys know about that one?
No.
no.
Do you know what the Mayfair Witches are?
Mm,
There was some Salem witches.
Okay, so I'll give you a quick background. This is the second sort of encyclopedic volume of books that Anne Rice published, other than the Vampire Lestat. So we had the
oh,
Vampire
I
Lestat, which
read
came
I
out.
I read that book, The Witches.
So there's a couple.
Okay.
There's quite a few, and this deals with an organization called the Talamesca, which is it is the like kind of like a supernatural group, or a group that looks for supernatural beings. And the Mayfair Witches is, I think, one of Anne Rice's better ventures into
Yeah.
the supernatural realm. I was absolutely enthralled by a lot of the tangents that came from this, including Merrick was like one of my favorites. That's not specifically Mayfair Witches, but it's fabulous. So that I feel like is going to be really good. I mean, the advanced promo material gives me a lot of hope, and the critic ratings give me a lot of hope too. All right, moving on to, anybody want to see Velma?
No.
No. Scooby Doo. No.
Mhm.
That's the,
Um,
that's
I
the
s-
hmm.
I smoke and I don't really care for it. Like,
yeah.
All
They're
right.
just yeah. I mean, they got Wednesday is supposed to be pretty good, but
yeah, I saw a couple episodes of Wednesday and I thought it was good. Yeah.
I mean,
I I didn't see Wednesday
what's
at
next?
all.
What's next? Rubble,
No.
the Barney Rubble origin
There's no
story.
Barney Rubble show. I kind of wish there actually was. That would be kind of fun. Okay.
See, you're part of the problem.
Yeah. That 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 was incredibly facetious and sarcastic. So please don't take that seriously.
Oh,
I do think there is one that you might like though, Kente. It's called Breakpoint. It's called Breakpoint. It
okay.
is premiering on Netflix January 13th. It is a series that specifically deals with, it's a docu series basically, and it follows a group of players as they play all over the world, and it's specifically focused on tennis.
Oh, okay.
So could be fun. That there's quite a bit in here that seems like it could be good. It's it's not really reality TV, but it feels a little bit like that. So
Mhm.
choose wisely. But I guess look for some advanced information on it. Some of these I don't know how you guys feel about them. Like Hulu has a How I Met Your Father season 2 coming out
Oh, no.
instead of How I Met Your Mother. Yeah, I didn't
Right.
watch any of
And then
that. It didn't.
yeah, and then they also got the '90s show, I guess.
Yep, the 90s show is coming. I don't know how I feel about that one either. I feel like I'm kind of done with it. I don't
Yeah.
know. Some of this other stuff, like there's one that looks really interesting because, Netflix tends to do its kind of CW-esque stuff good, but that's the stuff that always gets canceled. So I feel
Mm.
like I don't have any investment in it. There's a Netflix show called Lockwood and Company, which is like a detective thriller about ghost hunters, and it seems like it could be really good, but I don't have any faith that they are going to do anything with it because even if it's popular, I don't feel, and we're going to talk about why this happens in a minute. Frozen Planet 2. Oh, you season 4 is
Yeah,
coming.
wait, I still got to finish season 2.
Yeah, they're moving, like they're chugging really hard ahead, which is good. I'm glad that they're getting all of their story out. That's awesome. Mandalorian is coming in March, so Mando season 3.
Yay.
I know they got lots of good stuff planned for Mandalorian season 3. They're gonna tie together a whole bunch of things, which I think is gonna be super interesting. Shadow and Bone. Do you guys watch Shadow and Bone at all?
No,
Okay.
no.
Shadow and Bone season 2 is going to be on Netflix. I would not hold my breath on that getting a season 3, but I do think season 2 will be good. Um, let's see what else. Okay, this one is intriguing. In 2023, but no specific date, apparently early 2023, there's going to be something called Secret Invasion.
Oh
And let me
yeah,
tell you,
I've heard
yeah?
about. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So the premise of this is
Samuel
aliens
Jackson is the star.
living in yes, yes. It's not exactly superheroes, but it's these things called shape shifting scrolls. And they've infiltrated basically the entire world. It feels a lot to me like a They Live, but without, rowdy rowdy. It has that feel to it, like, hey, look, these guys are here and they are everywhere. I'm really excited about this idea. So this I feel like could be good. And this is again coming to Disney Plus. So let's see what happens with that. Do you guys watch Riverdale at all?
No.
Okay. Neither do I, and for many, many reasons. But there is going to be a Riverdale season 7. Good lord. Succession is getting a season 4 this year. So that's exciting. I do like Succession. It's
I
kind of like
haven't.
watching. Uh, you don't watch it?
No, I haven't watched. I mean, it looks like it's amazing. It looks like it's my kind of show too.
Oh, it. You know what? You're right. I think you would actually love it. Succession is like watching. Um, is like watching a. What's a good way to say this? They're mean. They're so mean, but the way that things happen it definitely gives you this feel like, look, you're all terrible people and I can't wait for all of you to fail, and yet at the same time you're like secretly creating these fictional factions of who you are secretly rooting for. Oh yeah, no, I actually want these guys to get ahead because, and at the end of the day they're all terrible people, but I super love it. I don't know, kind of like Breaking Bad in that way.
Yeah,
um
it's very Josh would fit in with those people, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. My producer Josh would definitely fit in with them for sure. Yep. Uh hey, we got Loki season 2 coming. Did you see Loki at all?
No, I didn't see Loki.
Somehow we lost Tori, so
Yeah, I
yeah.
didn't. I didn't watch Loki, but people swear it's really good.
It is it's definite the whole idea for Marvel splitting into the multiverse was explained so perfectly in Loki, and I think that's maybe one of its best qualities. It just has a way of being able to do the storytelling in a way that also helps augment all of the other Marvel Universe spots, which I think is great. But one of the things that I'm kind of interested in is the storytelling for Loki it's been kind of weird, and I'm kind of hoping that they like branch off and give Loki a chance to do something all on the character's own instead of having it be so incredibly involved in every other timeline. But we'll see. I don't know about that one. I do know I'm excited about that though. Let's see. Oh, here's one for you, Kinte. X-Men 97. Old school animation with the X-Men. Yes? No? What do you think?
Sure, why not?
It kind of looks like the Thundercats or He-Man. I mean, like on purpose, it's intentionally sort of watercolory. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, it's okay.
Um, do you know anything about Echo?
No.
Okay. So we know that Echo, which is on Disney, it will be on Disney Plus, is uh, part of the whole Marvel universe. If you saw Hawkeye, the very end sort of gives you it brings in Wilson Fisk again, and it sort of sets up what's going to happen in Echo. So that could be interesting.
Oh, and shout out to Hawkeye himself, Jeremy Renner, who's recovering from.
Yes.
Yeah, that's so
Yeah,
sad.
he
And he
looks
was,
good though.
What
and
did
he
he do? What happened?
he had he was in a snowplow accident,
Yep.
and
Oh.
he was trying to save somebody, and he ended up getting,
Oh wow. Poor
yeah. Because
guy.
at first I was like, what is he doing on a snowplow? You're rich, but then they found out he was actually trying to help somebody. So really sad.
Yeah, I think he's going to be okay though, which is good.
That's good. That's wonderful.
Um, okay, here's one. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't. It's called Ironheart. It's expected in late 2023. This is the sort of
Yeah,
Wakanda
Riri.
Forever.
Yeah,
Huh?
Riri. The
Yep.
Riri. Yeah.
So this is another MCU piece. This is the child prodigy who is going to basically have her own. She kind of builds her own Iron Man suit, and the suit can detect vibranium. So there's a whole bunch of things that go along with that. I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. I don't
It,
have a lot of information on it, but it seems like it might be good.
it's just they got so much stuff. It's like
There we
they
go.
have too much. It's too much.
There's a lot. There's a lot, but there's a little something for everybody, which is the way that I kind of like to look at it. Much like Disney. I mean, I'm sorry, much like Star Wars and Disney, which is ironically the next show. Uh,
But I
Ahsoka.
don't want something for everybody. I just want something only for me.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'll be right back.
Uh-huh.
I'll write you a note. I will
All right.
definitely send Disney a note. All right. So
Okay.
what about Ahsoka?
Oh yeah, look. Yeah, that looks good.
That does look good.
Uh,
I
I
love this
just
story.
Masoka.
Yes? No? You don't like that? She was brought into the Mandalorian, and I
Yeah, they
think
had
they
the
set up.
perfect person playing her.
Yep, and they set it up really well. I was very impressed with it. I'm kind of excited to see where this goes.
You
There's
know
a
why?
lot.
You know why Josh likes her?
Why? Why
Because
does
he
Josh like
played. She was in Clerks too.
Oh,
So she didn't do anything until she was in Clerks too. Then now she's a you know Rosario Dawson. That is.
that sounds yeah, that sounds like right up Josh's alley. There you go.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so the next one that I have on my list
Oh my
is
gosh. Shut up.
let's see, what else do I have on my list that seems like it is going to be interesting? Well, Futurama is back on Hulu.
Oh wow.
So that this show is just like that show just runs and runs and runs and runs and runs. I don't really have a ton of other. Severance is back, which a lot of people loved. I don't have a lot of information about Severance even season 2 other than I know that, it definitely was a huge hit. The Star Trek shows are back on Paramount for 2023, including, I believe, definitely Strange New Worlds, but also um, there's one which is Star Trek Prodigy, and I think Lower Decks gets another season. Lower Decks is the animated version, which was remarkably well done. I was actually pretty impressed with it. Um, but Anson Mount in Strange New Worlds that's going to be coming, and the final season of Picard is going to be out in 2023. So that's exciting. I actually really liked Picard. I felt like that was good. Um, in a surprise to no one, The Witcher season 3 is out in 2023, and I don't know. We got mixed feelings about that one.
Poor Henry Cavill. I mean, he's really, we were
Is it
all
really?
excited.
You know what? Is it really poor Henry Cavill? Is it really? Because okay, look, I did an entire podcast on just The Witcher all by myself. Nobody else was here. I had to monologue the whole thing. I'm going to tell you that since then, I think it's I of course, yes, I do feel like for the fandom, it's sad that Henry Cavill isn't going to be back because I do think that he just embodies The Witcher absolutely positively, and I love that. But I also am sort of like, look, pick a lane. This can't it's not fair to the fans that there is this thing and then this thing and then this thing. Like, no matter what's happening, yeah, I don't think this is as Henry Cavill drama free as we think it is. But it's still sad. I mean, we're gonna miss him as The Witcher, that's for sure. I don't even know if the show can survive. We'll
Well, I
see.
mean, I don't mean just only because of that show, but I meant he got fired from Superman.
Hmm.
Like Henry
Yeah, that
Cavill,
one's tough.
he deserves better than that. And look,
Although,
and Tori's doing a prayer for Henry,
Yeah,
right?
no, I have to tell you guys something. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was waiting for the right moment to interject. My earphones are so bad it's echoing, and
oh
I
no.
can't hear anybody. So I have to go. I have to go take care of that.
Okay,
Okay,
go ahead
Okay,
and
I'm
recount.
sorry.
No problem.
all right.
Although I'm going to tell you though, Kinte, Henry Cavill, I think, scored his dream job almost by universe fate because he is now doing Warhammer, uh, and I think that Warhammer is probably what he really wanted to do. The man does collectibles for Warhammer. I think he's going to be happy in that role. So maybe it was kind of a design thing. Who knows? I don't
He's a big nerd, isn't he?
know. Yeah, he's a very big nerd.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that that works out because I also think that Warhammer as a franchise has a lot of story power. So it could be great, and I hope that it is. I hope that he, really nails that role. I mean, selfishly for The Witcher, I kind of hope that they do something interesting at the end of season 3 of The Witcher to introduce or at least give us an idea about what the change is going to be happening for
Is he in
Liam
season 3?
Hemsworth. Henry Cavill is in season 3 of The Witcher, yes.
Oh,
But
okay.
then going into season 4, now we're going to have a switch. So we'll see. I did a whole, excuse me. I did a whole when I did my, spiel about the Witcher world so far. I did a blurb about um basically Blood Origin. And that's the prequel now series to the Witcher series. And it was terrible. Oh well, okay, I don't want to say that it was terrible. It's not that it was terrible, it's that ultimately I cannot make heads or tails of this without seeing more of the Witcher universe because I don't understand what they're doing. I mean, I see what they're doing, but I don't understand it. I don't have a good feel for, you know, why are you doing this with monoliths? Why are you changing the wild hunt? What are you doing ultimately? And I do feel like there might be answers down the road. I just don't have them. Um, but since I already spent an entire episode on The Witcher, we won't spend more time on The Witcher. Um, let's see. I also think there was another one that I thought was Justified. Yeah. Okay, so
Yay! I love that show.
yes, are you excited for that one? I
Yeah, yeah,
am.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
You
and
know, my
this
my
one,
favorite one of my favorite moments in that show is when he pushed the guy down to the ground and he took out his gun and he pulled out a bullet and threw it at him and he told him the next one will be coming faster.
yes, I love that. I,
That
I
was
I
so
I think I think one of the seminal moments in the entire series actually happens at the end of season 1 with the um it's the I forgot what she calls it. She calls it apple something, but it's basically her moonshine, and it's very clear sort of like what's getting set up to happen, and in the end, rather than face justice, she basically commits suicide. And I felt like that was just a crazy, like, oh my God, I didn't see that coming from anywhere. I just loved that entire series. And then all the stuff that happens afterwards. First season was amazing. Um, and this one is he is now stationed in Miami. And so
Where the
he,
show begins at.
yeah, and he's with his daughter. And um it's I think it's going to be
His actual
interesting.
daughter.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, his actual daughter.
Like in the show or in the
No, he's
real
a
life?
biological. I mean, the Timothy Oliphant's daughter.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is actually going to be amazing because Justified itself was just an amazing series. The writing was always fabulous, and this character just has some staying power. So I'm kind of excited about that one.
Yeah.
Um,
Josh loved it.
Also on Hulu, I don't have an actual date for this, but I do know it's 2023. FX did an adaptation or is doing an adaptation of James Clavell's 1975 novel Shogun. So
Another Shogun?
they remade it completely. They put in Justin Marks, who did an amazing series at Stars called Counterpart, which was really good. And I personally think this is going to be good. It has all the right elements, so but we'll see. Uh, let's see. I mean, like it's been through the ringer with this particular series. It's had a lot of stops and starts and stuff like that, but I think it could be good. Let's see. What else do we have? Do we have anything else that's sort of coming that seems amazing? I mean, there's Wolfpack, but I'm not really super excited about that. That is just so incredibly CW that I can't quite get into it. Um, and there's also the other big one that I thought could be interesting, which I don't know if anybody else is gonna think is crazy good. Um, is All the Light We Cannot See. And this is an actual adaptation from a book that was written. I can't remember when it was written. Was it written in 2015 or was it won a Pulitzer Prize in 2015? It's really crazy good. The book itself is crazy good, and it's going to be a four-part series, and it's featuring Stephen Knight as one of the writers. So I do have high hopes for that. I feel like it could be good. Basically, the premise is a blind French girl and German soldiers fighting in World War II cross paths, and some fairly interesting things happen. I mean, I know we've all been World War II kind of, to death with fiction, but this one is really good. I really like it.
Well, they had me at blind French girl.
There you go. See, it's going to be great. Um, let's see if there's anything else. I was interested to see if Invincible was coming back, but I can't find it anywhere. Um, I don't. Do you have you seen Invincible at all?
That's that cartoon that Robert Kirkman did, right?
Yeah, yeah.
No, no, I haven't seen it, but I've heard him. I've heard him talking about it.
I really like it. I think it's absolutely fabulous. But I can't find anything about it. If anybody knows anything, please share it with me. What else do we have? I guess that's kind of, I mean, there is some other stuff that is coming out, but it's really, it's sort of like up in the air about whether it's even going to hit. Um, there's some movies that are coming, which I think could be really good, but we'll cover that on another day. All right, I'm going to ask you a question, Kinte. And
Okay.
and put on a different hat here to answer this question because I feel like this is important.
Mhm.
When you look at the state of streaming content right now, what are you seeing?
A
And when it
bunch of just a
what?
bunch of stuff. Like it's just. I mean, even okay. There's a lot of good stuff, right? I'm sure,
Mhm.
but it's just so much. It's like it's overwhelming to me. The content is just so
Mhm.
overwhelming that it's like I don't watch anything because it's just so much to watch. It's like, oh yeah, the Witcher, there's the Jack Ryan, there's the Yellowstone, there's this, there's that, and it's like I don't know what to watch. It's like
Right.
there's a show. that actually started watching last year, and they did a season two. I haven't watched it yet. La Brea, which
Oh
is a
yeah.
cornball show, but I got into it because I actually gave it a shot and watched it. And I still got to watch season two of it, but honestly, it's just so much stuff. It's so much content. I mean, it's great for the actors and the people, but it seems like it's like I don't know, man. It's like I don't even know what to watch, because it's just so much stuff. I mean, when I say I don't know what to watch, meaning that it's so many programs, it's like I I don't, it's like, well, what do I start? Like I was telling you about Yellowstone. I've heard great things about it. I heard things about Tulsa King. I heard a lot of stuff about the Jack Ryan show. I've heard a lot of good stuff about, you know what I mean? Like, and it's just like I don't even know, like, what should I start on? Uh, I don't know.
Well,
I've never been like this.
okay, so this is a conundrum, and I'll tell you why. With the removal of Westworld and some other programs from HBO Max, like they are
Okay.
removing them from the catalog.
Oh wow. Why?
Um, licensing. They
Oh,
are trying to basically cut down on intellectual property licensing, which
okay.
at this point is sort of like where all the money is changing hands.
Mhm.
Um, but what I believe is happening more than not is the streaming content giants. So let's say Netflix, Hulu to a degree, although they seem to have a better and tighter control over their own inner machinations, probably because they are so closely affiliated with FX. Um, and remember that FX still has a content channel on regular cable, so they
Right.
have a slightly different format for bringing in revenue. Um, but the big content providers, Disney Plus is another one. They're having a problem. The problem is that they need new subscribers. And the only
Right.
way that they usually get new subscribers is by offering content that is new, different, unique, something somebody wants to watch, something that is going to bring in new, fresh eyeballs or renew eyeballs that left the platform.
Right.
Okay. And the competition is fierce. There's a lot of content out there, as you can
Uh-huh.
attest to, sometimes so much so that you don't even know what to watch. But the issue, I think that the big issue now is that people who miss out on
Mhm.
anything that they wanted to see may never get to see it. Because if the content can't find a new home, then there's no place for that content to be cataloged. You can't see it in any one given place. You can't go to, another streaming service to watch Westworld right now. It's not offered anywhere. So the only thing that you could possibly do is go
Probably
hop
Amazon
over to
Prime though, right?
it depends because see, Amazon Prime has to have. It's possible that you could rent it or buy each episode because that
Right.
does happen. But in terms of seeing it for the subscription cost, I'm not so sure. This is a big conundrum right now. There's a lot of stuff that's happening around this. But I'm gonna just throw something out there. Earlier this week, the first of all, the CFO for especially, and I don't mean to keep getting down on HBO Max, but God, you know, I don't know what HBO Max is doing, and it's so confusing. He basically gave a very, I would say, not, a very, but a rosy picture for 2023. Like, hey, I think we finally got sort of a formula here and it's looking good. Um, But then you look at the CEO, and he's making these aggressive changes to how intellectual property is managed, when specific royalties are paid, including via Netflix. So, like, Sandman is actually a Warner production, right? And
Mhm.
in order to get it over to Netflix, they have to pay for it. Netflix has to pay for it. So what happens is Netflix says, okay, over the course of 24 months, as our revenue revs up because of the showing for this series, we then give you the intellectual property right fees, the licensing fees for this. And the CEO of HBO Max says, no, we need everything up front. That's not a good business model. And look, I don't know a lot of business models that don't have sort of a, okay, we need to process this over market time. And it seems so weird to me that they would chop off that kind of revenue simply for lack of the terms, like, okay, well, the terms are, I mean, I could see saying, hey, look, we're going to need this 6 months into, or maybe a year, chopping off 6 months, whatever. But to say that, no, it has to be delivered like on demand, as soon as we get this you have to pay for it, that seems ridiculous. I don't even know if there's any content model out there that does that. I can't think of any. But in any event, I see that this is going to be a giant fight in 2023 because streaming content networks can't afford to license the production aspect of these big companies if that's what they're going to do. So that's going to affect the content creators. That's going to affect the entire series production. And that has me a little bit worried. The other thing that I feel like we should definitely talk about is, have you heard that George Martin says that the cutbacks at HBO Max have now significantly altered the House of Dragons slash, continuing on Game of Thrones saga?
Yeah, I kind of saw that, but I didn't really read it.
What he says is that he thinks that it has significantly diminished the number of spin-offs that were possible, and that HBO Max may continue with the principle of House of Dragon but may not opt for any of the other titles that may have, been a little bit more out there that they didn't know if they were going to do, like the Jon Snow one.
That's
um
surprising.
I
The
know
Jon
it
Snow
is.
one, because you almost never get an actor that even want to do that,
Right.
but that's kind of surprising. He really wanted to do it, so he
not
pushed.
only not only did he want to do it, but based on the fan reaction, fans really wanted to see it too.
Yeah, they wanted to see him.
So, yeah, I don't know exactly what's happening, but I'm going to give you a case study, okay? And I think that this is why streaming content is so unstable, or this is an anecdote of why it looks so crazy unstable. So, I was watching this series called Dangerous Liaisons, and it was actually quite good. I
About
mean,
the
it was.
Valmonts.
Yes, and it was amazing because they shook everything up. They gave a lead aspect of the storytelling to a woman's role
Why
without
they do
making
that?
her Glenn's close. Because they changed up the story a bit and it actually worked. Like, I was afraid it wasn't going to work, but it really
No,
did
but
work. It
wait, but
made a lot of sense. I don't think you could tell the story the way that it was the way that it was originally intended over an entire series or two, which is
hmm,
what they originally intended. Okay, but let me get to what I think, or let me get to what happened, and then let me tell you what I think happened. So, Stars, what is the principal channel that this is on, and they greenlit Dangerous Liaisons, before I think the series even ended. And it seemed great. I mean, it seemed like, wow, there's plenty of people that were really interested in it. There was a lot of online buzz. The costumes were delicious. Everything was amazing. They renewed it. The series stopped because, it came to the close for season 1, and then in December, so over a month and a half after they had already greenlit season 2, they canceled it.
oh wow.
Now, right, and that's kind of odd. But let me tell you what I think is happening. I think that the streaming platforms are under incredible pressure based on basically what you just said. There is so much variety that it is hard to concentrate on one or even two markets that you want to break into. And catalogs are bloated, there's a lot of material in them, and they're paying basically for all of those titles to be in their catalog unless they are originals. Like Stars originals would be Black Sails and
Power.
Power, right? Yes, unless they are actually original to the studios, they have to pay to license all of these things. So I think that that's problem number one. But problem number two is this change in metric for audience participation and viewing. And more of the streaming content giants are looking at metrics which I don't actually think translate to actual number of eyeballs. And I'm going to point to what's happening again over at HBO Max. HBO Max has contracted with a brand new company that is not Nielsen for the first time ever, and they have the company that they're contracting with is going to give them a different kind of audience metric. I mean, obviously that'll still have the kind of points like how many households are watching and those kinds of things, but a lot of times the streaming content giants can't always tell who's watching what because they don't have access to information like on Roku. They don't have information that's basically coming in from alternate sources. And that can make it really difficult for them to figure out who's watching what. And it feels like and this is what happens with Netflix too, right? A show is successful, but then they cancel it anyway. All the newest one was 1899, which was amazing. I mean, like I haven't seen a show like that in a long time,
It's
and it was
1899.
yeah. I mean, I was alive back then, so there was. I mean, we were watching stick figures run around in shadows, so this was good. But I mean, they set it up for a season two. It could have been absolutely phenomenal. And there was so much online buzz. I mean, people on Twitter loved it. There was so many people talking about it, and so many people talking about it in other social media groups. There's huge Reddit themes that were specifically looking to decode the ciphers and all kinds of great stuff. And for Netflix to pull it at this point tells me that something's not lining up here. Something either that I don't understand or that the content that Netflix itself is deciding, here's the metric by which we're going to decide whether these shows are successful or not. And I'm sure that there's a big mathematical formula, and I'm sure that there's cost analysis and there's all kinds of things. But based on what people want to watch, Netflix is moving in the direction of adding so much in terms of foreign titles to the catalog without actually adding the kind of like, hey, here's a point where we know that people will actually subscribe in order to get Netflix. That I don't. I'm. I mean, what do you see? Because I can't quite understand what's happening here.
I know one thing. When I turn on my Netflix, I don't really. There's not much I want to see on there,
Mm,
and it's getting to a point where I'm starting to question why do I have it? Because I can't remember. Like there's very few movies. Like during the holidays, I was watching random movies, right?
hmm
I found most of the time I was on Amazon Prime or HBO Max or even Paramount Plus to watch just movies. Just random movies. From back in the day, that
hmm
kind of stuff. A lot of the stuff on Netflix. I mean, there were a few times where I found something that I wanted to see, but it's that's what I seem to. That seems like that's what's going on with me with Netflix, and I'm at a point where it's like, do I even need Netflix?
See, and I think that this is actually one of the things. I mean, of course, look, I'm not running the companies, but hey, you know what? I'm totally available if y'all want to hit me up. Okay, I'll be your consultant, and yeah, won't even cost you that much. Um, One of the issues that I think is happening with both Netflix and not as much with HBO Max, but a little bit. HBO Max has an incredible catalog. It's enormous. And the things that exist in it are oftentimes completely obscured by what the algorithm shows you. Now, and that's saying something, right? Because,
Mhm.
you there's a lot on HBO Max, but Netflix is that problem times 1,000, where the algorithm basically picks up what it is that you have seen or associated content, and I get why. But what happens is it also then sort of by omission gets rid of content that you simply will not see because it's been obfuscated by the algorithm. So you really have to go search for stuff in order to find it.
Did you
And
say
that's it.
Nazi? Did you say Nazi?
No, I said obfuscated.
No, you said something about Nazis.
No, I didn't. I swear I was not saying Nazi at all.
Oh, okay, my bad.
N-
Oh, you said
Netflix.
Nazi. Oh, I'm
Oh
sorry.
yeah, not see, right. You're not seeing all of the titles. God, you're so crazy. And the issue now that I have with the way that the algorithms are showing us information, and one of the big reasons that I think that we need to reinvestigate how consumers are interacting with these algorithms, is that you get people like you and other people who want to investigate more content but need to see more than just one, what is in my list, two, hey, you love horror, here's a bunch of horror, and three, these are the trending shows today. I think by themselves those are great, but you have to somehow help people expand these title catalogs. And look, I get it, streaming, especially when you're using Roku or if you're connecting from a phone or whatever, the menu system can be clunky and ridiculously difficult. But come on, these people, the content streaming companies spend millions and millions of dollars in all kinds of research. How are they not spending money on their actual interfaces that really benefit the client?
Amen. Thank you, because it's a lot of them suck.
They do.
Their interface.
They're
Yeah,
clunky at best. They feel like they come from the 1990s.
yeah.
There isn't intelligent design. Why are you not seeing ads that specifically have QR codes that take you immediately to the content? How easy would that be? I mean, like I'm at a loss for why these companies are being run so technologically backwards when and then all that they do is complain that they're not getting enough viewers. You're not making it enticing to the viewers to get there or to find the content once they know about it. That's I think that that's a huge problem. I will give HBO Max one shout out. They did start with a catalog feature that scrolls across the bottom of the screen, and it has all the stuff that's kind of coming soon. And you can favorite that so that it sticks into your list, and as soon as it's published, it'll give you an alert. I do like that. I think that that was forward thinking and kind of smart. But why are we not getting the Netflix phone app? Will do that if you go into the phone app. But if you're going to Netflix using Roku, or if you're online using a browser, you're not going to see that stuff. And like somehow they have to be able to integrate this stuff. And I don't feel like they're doing a good job with that. I don't know.
No, not
That
at all. It's terrible. That's why I got to call out Josh as well for not doing a good job.
on the interface between all of
No,
us.
it's like
Yeah.
when I made the Nazi joke, he should have popped up a picture of Tom Cruise and Valkyrie. Uh,
Or Indy, or Indiana Jones.
yeah, well, I think Tom Cruise and Valkyrie. That's the idea of him playing a Nazi officer is hilarious. But no, but no.
Uh-huh. Yeah, okay. He's the
Hilarious.
kitchen Nazi. It's all right. Yeah, we got you,
Uh,
Gordon Ramsay.
but no, but I know I agree 100% with you. And you would think that was something that it reminds me of a story that was told about Gene Hackman.
Hmm.
Gene Hackman was in a movie. What's the guy who did Bottle Rocket and the director, they all love this guy. He did the Darjeeling Limited. Uh,
Oh, um,
oh my God, I can't believe I can't think of his name right now. He did all those. He does all those quirky movies. Um, oh wow, y'all just gonna leave me hanging, Josh?
uh,
What's the guy's name? The director that Bill Murray's always in his movies.
Wes Anderson. Wes
Wes
Anderson.
Anderson. Thank
Thank you.
you. Thank you.
For a second, I wanted to say Wes Craven, and I was like, wait a minute.
No,
No. Okay. Yes, Wes
well,
Anderson.
he was doing the Wes Anderson movie, right? And
Yes.
so the line was Coltrane, right? He needed to say John Coltrane, right?
Hmm.
So Gene Hackman goes to Wes Anderson and he says, you know, you should say Satchmo because that'll be better. You know, people of my generation they'll refer to him as more of a Satchmo. And Wes Anderson said, I hear you, but I just like the way the word Coltrane. I just like the way it sounds. If people don't get it, you know, it's okay. And then Gene Hackman's response to him was, "Oh, yeah, they're just the fans, the people that are actually watching the film. But fuck them. All right, let's
Yeah.
do it."
Yes. Yeah. You, you know. Okay. So I don't think I'm breaking. I don't think I'm breaking any NDAs by saying this, but so I regularly get um surveys,
Uh huh.
and fairly specific surveys that relate to shows that I've seen.
Hmm.
And they ask for pages and pages and pages of response, including,
Oh wow.
relationships with characters and, different ideas going forward and, what do I like? What do I dislike? Look, I love that. And it's amazing to be a part of that research. It's really cool. But what disturbs me, I think, the most about that is how infrequent series are about using that information in order to craft the next season. So it's all well and fine. And I do think that there are actually some that really invest in this. And I think that that's amazing and good. And I can think of a couple where I have actually seen it in action. It really does work. But why, in this age of, instant technology, why are we not utilizing these tools in order to more closely fit what audience expectations are to what is being generated? And I don't say this like, oh, because look, I'm a writer myself, and I get that you don't want people trampling on your vision of things. But I'm also going to say that as a writer, it is, if you want to work in television specifically, then your version of storytelling should be tweaked enough to give it the feel that fans, especially dedicated fans, have toward your material, so that you're at least crafting some things in their direction. And also, you get instant feedback that you can then give to the studio, the networks, and they see that there is positive movement in these directions, as opposed to at this point just looking at actual eyeball metrics. Like, Nielsen is great, but Nielsen does not deep dive. Yes, maybe you watched something, but you know what? Once a week, I watch Fox News. Not because I particularly love Fox News, but because I just want to know what the heck they're saying over there. But that still counts. I become an eyeball to a station, a network, and I'm not there because I want to be there. That is to me kind of like a big issue. There is no amount of studio or network streaming
Oh, wait,
content.
real quick. Yes, Tori. Yes, Tori. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I miss Tori?
No, no. She was asking, can she come back on? And
Oh,
that the issue's fixed.
I personally feel like, oh, like, why aren't we doing this? I mean, heck, you know what? CVS gives me an opportunity to put in a survey every single time I go to CVS, right?
Uh-huh.
Why aren't shows doing this? What is going on? I just feel like we're missing out on an entire layer, and especially of incredibly tuned in and plugged in generations that are under mine. Uh, and I don't understand it. So algorithm is one, better streaming access is two, just in terms of, interface and layout. And then three is, look, whatever your metrics are, you need to figure out this cost benefit analysis in a way that is not undermining so much of your content. Look, if you don't like the way that something is going because you think it's got less viewers than it's supposed to, decrease budgets, but let the content stream forward. I mean, I feel so weird about this constant cancellation thing that is creating, for me especially, this feeling of all of the all of the shows that I think might be worth watching are just going to get canceled in their first season, or possibly not make it to season 2. I mean, Netflix, there's a meme that goes around about Netflix. Don't expect past season 2 on Netflix because that's when everything gets canceled. So I don't know. I have very mixed feelings about this, and I don't really have any like good solutions. A friend of mine was reminding me that Star Trek, the original series, only ran for a couple of seasons, but then I have to go back to them and say, yes, but each season wasn't just 8 episodes. We don't do that stuff anymore. So,
Yeah.
um, okay. Well, what's your number one suggestion for streaming content providers to make things more accessible to you?
Instead of quantity, quality. Some of the stuff that they have, I just don't see anybody even wanting it or asking for it. So instead of, I mean, I get it. It probably helps to have a lot of stuff, but it seems like in the beginning of Netflix, it seems like almost every program was stellar, and
Hmm.
now it's like a lot of crap. I'm not expecting to hit a home run every time, but it seems like it's less likely to get that home run. So I don't
Well,
know.
I'm going to point to something that happened over at Sci-Fi, because Sci-Fi hit um, a couple of shows out of the park, and
Sliders.
I didn't even know Sci-Fi was still doing stuff. Um, like there are things I regularly now have to aggregate a list of things to watch so that I don't miss them. I put them into a calendar and record when I need to, but make sure that I have things sort of lined up so that I don't miss anything, because I inevitably will. And I'm surprised at the number of times now that I need to go directly to my DirecTV lineup so that I can watch stuff that is on regular network TV. And for Chucky, which is that's where I was thinking about the sci-fi thing. Man, they just hit that thing out of the park. It's the craziest, silliest, and yet really well done series, which is, obviously just, it's kind of like uh the passion project of what's his name, Mancini. But it's so good. It's so good. And you can tell that it's low budget. It's not super high budget. There's VFX, but they're not huge, they're not over the top. The drama takes place in with interpersonal relationships, and
Did
it's
you hear
like,
the drama though about it?
what now, what did I
There's a
miss
love
something?
triangle between Annabelle,
Oh.
Chucky, and Megan. So Megan is going at Annabelle for the love of Chucky.
That's gonna be messy. That's gonna be really messy.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm all here for it, and I actually think that we should take all three of them and put them into the chopping mall. I feel like this could be like the best idea ever. AI hunting down animated sentient dolls, dude.
There we go.
Right?
There we go. And honestly, I feel like Chucky would team up with Annabelle against Megan.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Actually. Yeah, I definitely do. The idea that Chucky is still relevant so many years later, um, you know, makes me think, look, you know what? Good things can still happen. Evil Dead is getting its own remake, and apparently it's really good. That, in and of itself, tells me, look, you know what? Franchises aren't dead, but you can't beat a franchise to death either. Like, you have to actually inject it with something that is either new or that gives people something unique and different to see. Because, yeah, the trope can get really tired after a while, but Prey did it with the Predator series, and it was out of this world good.
Wait,
So,
what does French fries have to do with?
French fries?
Yeah, you said French fries is.
I said French fries. Okay. Apparently, I'm not enunciating well enough for Kinte. And
You
also,
said
hello.
Nazis and French fries?
Also, hello. They're not French fries. They're freedom fries. Get out of here. Yeah,
I'm
I'm
being
still old enough to remember that one. Uh-huh.
freedom fries. Yeah, that was a September 11th thing, right?
Oh, good lord. Okay. Anyway, back to
I
Homeworld
know. I'm sorry.
reality.
I had to
No.
do it.
I thought it was funny too, actually. Okay, so I'm gonna throw it in just sort of like an easy softball question, even though I'm sure you'll come back with something super amazing.
Yeah. Oh, and Josh, get Tori back. She's trying to come back. Text her or whatever you got to do.
Oh yeah, I thought maybe she would already be back. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Engineer man. Sorry. Go ahead.
it's okay. You know,
Producer.
he's got to sleep sometime.
Producer.
All right, so here's my question. You ready?
Uh, yeah.
Okay. So of all of the streaming content providers, which one is your favorite and why?
Right now, I would have to say, uh, which is actually the number one now. It's beats out Netflix. Is Amazon Prime because you can get almost everything on Amazon Prime. So even if you don't have, even if you don't even if it's on another streaming thing, you can get it on Amazon Prime. Movies, you can get almost every movie you want on there. You
Good
can get
point.
almost, yeah, I mean, so Amazon Prime, honestly, if you got rid of the rest of them, Amazon Prime could probably hold you, more than any of the other ones. So I would say that one followed by um HBO Max.
Yeah, I'm pretty enamored actually with HBO Max. I wish I wasn't. But HBO Max also has the TCM catalog or a lot of it.
Mhm.
And so I find myself going there a lot because I feel like that's the one. That's what I love. But I also personally I don't know how to strip my choices down
I'm glad
for
you finished that sentence.
content providers. I have my Roku is set up with basically maybe 5 or 6 streaming providers that we use regularly.
Yeah, I think I
And
have all.
then
Yeah.
because there's stuff on Disney Plus that's clearly only in Disney Plus. There's HBO Max, there's Hulu, there's Netflix, which is our big one. There's Amazon, which is another big one for us. And I don't
That's
mind
the
paying
big
for
one.
movies. And I don't mind paying for movies. I
Me
don't
neither.
mind,
I paid the
you
two
know?
dollars and 99 cents.
Yeah, and if something seems like it is rental worthy, I will either choose Amazon Prime or I will hop over to Vudu. And a lot of times I'll hop over to Vudu to see what is new because sometimes things are new that I don't necessarily know even to look for. So there's that.
Yeah, there's so many great movies of the past that, like during the holidays, I watched. I'm gonna just do it real quick. The movies I watched, I
Yeah.
watched the three first Jack Ryan movies, Hunt, Patriot Games, and Clear and Present Danger. I love Clear and Present Danger.
Yeah, that's a
Um,
good one.
I watched Cliffhanger, the Stallone movie, which
Oh
it held
yeah.
up pretty nicely. I watched Green
Unintended.
Zone that just kind of came out 20 years ago with Matt Damon. I saw it for the first time, and that was really good. The Green Zone, a great movie that just came out. Emily the Criminal, great movie.
Oh,
Came
that
out like
does
last
sound
year
good.
with my girl Aubrey Plaza and your boy Juice from Theo Rossi.
Yeah, I have not seen that, and it sounds
Yeah.
good.
And I mean, I've watched so many movies of late. I was disappointed. I wanted to rewatch this movie called Shoot to Kill, uh, and it wasn't on anything, which was disappointing. It
Oh
wasn't
no.
on. It wasn't on no platform. So uh,
That's another thing that seems like it's a consistent issue. The
right,
consistent issue is as things are being removed from content media, as things are being removed from catalogs, it's getting harder and harder to find. Remember when they used to tell us that digital
mhm,
media would be like, oh, you'll never have to look anywhere else again. You'll find everything you're looking for. That turned out to be a very serious lie. And it's also one of the reasons that if you like a movie, it is definitely worth it to buy it
right.
on
There-
in a hard copy.
There's
Go
two
get the
movies.
DVD.
There's two movies that I can't get on anything. One, and I had bought one of them, and I need to buy the other one. One is Ransom, the movie with Mel Gibson from the
Oh
'90s.
yeah, I
Great
remember that.
freaking movie, great movie. And then Josh will be pissed about this one. Is the movie Red State? I actually wanted to watch that again, and it was on nothing. Actually, I think a lot of his movies are not on stuff. A lot of Kevin Smith stuff. I think there's some kind of deal or something. But I couldn't
Yeah,
get
it's
Red
going to
State.
come down to licensing again.
I think he said something about he had to go to um Harvey Weinstein and Harvey Weinstein's being a jerk right now. I don't know why. I mean,
Oh, because he's holding on to the licensing rights. I see.
yeah,
Oh. Oh man, yeah, that's really sticky. But see, this is why we can't just say, "Oh good, I hope HBO Max," or "Oh good, I hope Netflix just fails," you know. I hope they just go, you know, that just clears the space for like, you know, better, smaller niche content. The issue that we have with this is that the leverage that you need in order to get these licensing rights for these really high top dollar intellectual property pieces are it's enormous. And unless you have this kind of back, you're not going to get it. So we, the consumers, are the ones that ultimately don't get what we need if we're not paying attention to the process by which these big streaming content providers are getting their licensing rights or using their power to get licensing rights for shows. This is I mean, it's a lot bigger than I think than I have time to even explain in a podcast. But it's important that we all understand that, look, you know, we used to talk about banks as being too big to fail. The streaming giants have gotten to the point where if their catalogs disappear, there is going to be a lot of content that may be simply lost or fragmented. And that doesn't seem like that's good for anybody. So, you know, I'm not looking for HBO Max to fail. I'm not looking for Netflix to fail. I don't want any of the streaming content providers to fail. What I want for them to do is organize around creating both a better user interface and also paying attention to their customers as actual living people and not just audience segments. I know that that's hard, but the audience segments are making up all of these niche parts of your catalog viewing, and you're not paying any attention to them. So they're not giving you anything back. But I feel like this could be a really good two-way street. Anyway, that was just my that was my sort of, you know, off the cuff remark about that thing. Also, the other thing that I think is maybe even more important than any of that is there is a big push right now to get more stuff into the catalogs that is like almost direct from the theaters. You know, hey, look, it used to take HBO 2, 3, 4 months to get something onto the HBO platform. Now it takes less than 30 days. And some of this turnaround is specifically so that, they can start generating more sales immediately with VOD and stuff. I totally get that. But look, if the cost of this is we, the consumer, need to wait in order to get the cost down, man, I would much rather wait and have the cost go down so that we get more of this stuff into the catalogs instead of everything being so fragmented. So, all right. Well, I am going to, unless you want to add anything more.
No, just thank you so much for having me.
I am going to close up the show by saying that I think that this year for 2023 is going to be a big year for new content. It's not going to be a big year for content that was, like season 2 of shows. But we do know that Wheel of Time is coming back. We know that there's going to be a bunch of things are going to be happening. So there is some good stuff in the works. Um, I do think it's going to be a big year, but I also see that 2023 is going to see perhaps a big restructuring, a big shuffle of content media providers. And I think it's going to upend a lot of what we're thinking is the norm right now. And I'm not just talking about advertising, I'm talking about like real company restructuring because everybody's got the bills coming due. And I don't know if there's enough eyeballs hitting stuff to make those bills. So we'll see. Kinte, how can we find you all around? I mean, other than giving out your personal phone number, any way you want people to
Oh, I
contact
was going to do that.
you?
No, you can get me at Kente F on Twitter, Kente Ferguson on Instagram, and I just want to let people know I will be back doing podcasts. We're going to be doing a new season of Pilot Season and Horror Flicks and Chill. And of course, we'll be covering From a little bit later in the year. And I'm just looking forward to it. Indie radio, yay. So, oh, just as a side note, I one of the I think that the first show that we're going to do back of Pilot Season, which is a show where we look at TV show pilots,
Hmm.
is the TV show Sliders. So,
Oh, nice. I was wondering why you brought that up. Very cool.
uh,
Good one. Very good. Okay. You can catch me over at moviesandmeals.com. You can also catch me on my 10 to 1 podcast, which I do with my producer Josh every Wednesday at 8:30 Eastern. Each week we pick a topic and find a list of movies to jewel that list. And some of them really are gems. They're super fun. We always have a good time. We always talk about, social impact of movies, silly stuff about the movies, reasons that we just absolutely love them, even if they only got Rotten Tomato scores of 3, which actually happened last week or this week, actually. So join us there. What are we doing next week? Next week, we're doing shows from the year 1982 because that's Josh's birth year. So we're gonna have fun with that. Already have a whole
terrible,
bunch of
terrible
those.
year, terrible year.
Uh it was fun. Well, I had a fun time putting together this list. I think it's going to be a good one. And I'll just mention that I said to Josh that we should start out the show with "They're here" because that seems perfect. Okay. Uh, I'm so sorry that Tori wasn't able to rejoin us tonight, but thank you, Tori, for also being a part of the show. We appreciate you very much. Kinte, thank you for joining me. I really appreciated it, and we will see you next week.